Okay, guys, before we go in there to see Senator Cromartie, let's kind of get a game plan together and figure out
Okay.
what we're gonna say. I'll start, and, once I introduce myself, I'll look to you, John, and then you introduce yourself,
Okay.
and then you introduce yourself.
And if you could tell your personal story, and then I'll say my family, and then all of us can kind of group.
After she introduces me,
Yes,
I should tell my
introduce,
story?
yes, tell your
Okay.
story,
Okay.
and then we'll go into statistics, and then who wants to make the ask?
Who's gonna
Well, I
make the
can-
statistics? You
well,
gonna talk about the statistics?
I'll say the statistics,
Okay,
okay.
and I'll make sure before we get out of there that we tell them what we want and we want to support.
Great.
And I've got my card and I've got the handout.
Awesome,
Sounds
perfect.
Ready? We're
Okay.
good. Let's go in and see.
Okay,
Ready?
okay.
Okay.
Senator Cromartie, it's so nice to see you today. Thanks for taking a little bit of time out.
Glad to do it.
I'm Betsy Vetter, and I live on Dover Drive in Aden, North Carolina.
I'm John O'Connor, I live in Kinston.
Nice to meet you, John.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Park. I'm also one of your constituents. It's very nice to meet you
Thank
today.
you for coming in.
And thank you for taking the time. We really appreciate it.
Well, I always believe that, without you guys, don't need me. So what can I do for
We
you?
appreciate, Senator, we want to talk with you about stroke, and as you know, stroke is a major issue area for northeastern North Carolina. We have an unbelievable toll of stroke in this part of the state. It's considered the buckle of the stroke belt.
What does that mean?
The buckle of the stroke belt means that there are more strokes that are taking place. People are dying of stroke more in northeastern North Carolina than in other places of the country. And it actually runs from the border of North Carolina down to, through South Carolina and Georgia. And so it's a terrible toll in our state, and it really affects people deeply. Not only can you die, but when you live with a stroke as a stroke survivor, the quality of life is affected. And so we actually brought John with us today so you could meet and he could tell you a little bit about what he has experienced.
I had a stroke 2 years ago, and we were driving to the beach, and all of a sudden I felt blurry. My vision was messed up, and I started to feel dizzy and had the worst headache of my life. And I told my wife she better call 911 on her cell phone or get me to the nearest hospital. And there was no hospital ready to treat my stroke. Fortunately, she did get an ambulance, and they took me to Pitt, and I got good care, but we had to use all of our savings to pay for our health care, and
That's just
it's
terrible.
still costing money. I had to learn how to read and write and talk all over again.
And it's really hard in North Carolina because stroke is the third leading cause of death. And a lot of our friends and family, here telling your story are important because there is a lack of awareness. There's a lack of information about signs and symptoms. And some people may not even know to call 911. So it's really important to get the information out there and have programs that are able to make a difference.
I had a friend who worked for the Heart Association, and then she gave me her business card, and that's how I knew that on the back it was the signs and symptoms.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
How can I help?
Well, Senator, there is a way that you can help this year. In North Carolina, we, in 2006, passed a law that formed a stroke advisory council, and the role of the council is to bring it brings stroke survivors to the table, but it also brings hospitals to the table. The American Stroke Association is there. Our own heart disease and stroke program staff are there, local health departments, and everyone comes together. There's neurologists there to talk about a stroke system of care for North Carolina. And it is a group that will address the issues specific for North Carolina. And so it's a very, very special group of people, and they're able to make recommendations back to the General Assembly. And so one of the things we would like to ask you for is to continue to support that council, and we have a small funding request of $50,000 a year for that. And then in addition to that, for the northeastern part of the state, is to continue funding a public awareness campaign. As Jen mentioned to you, public awareness is key to this
They're gonna put me on TV to tell my
and,
story.
and that way, you know, it'll help other people know how to respond. So we'd love your support for that.
Mhm.
I think I can probably get behind this and support it. I need you to give me some more information so I can study it.
Okay.
I wanna make sure that all the programs I'm looking at supporting this year are gonna be the best one for constituents like you. But if you give me something, I feel really good about the campaign, because if we can educate the public, I know we're better off. I appreciate you coming to see me today. Thank you so much, and you guys have a good night.
Okay, well, I have this handout for you to keep, and I will be following up with you. This is my card, and we'll get you some more of that information, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you.
And I would be
Tom.
willing to go with you on your speeches
Mhm.
as an example of somebody who had a stroke.
John, I may take you up on that, because as I go through this material and formulate my questions after I talk to Ms. Vedder, I may say, this is the reason we ought to do this.
Sure.
Thank
be
you very
happy to.
much.
Okay.
Thank you for your
Thank you,
support.
All right.
Senator. We
You're
appreciate your
welcome.
time very
Thank
much.
you,
Have a
Senator.
great
Thanks
day.
for
All right,
coming to see us.
bye-bye.
Bye.